Can we talk about astrology for a second? Because there's a lot of content creators out there who I feel like they're instilling fear into people when it comes to like what's happening astrologically. And, I remember why I started learning astrology. It was 2009. I had a reading by this woman, and she knew the exact weekend that I had lost my job. And I was like, are you kidding me? She knew exactly when tension was starting to build in my workplace. And I thought, I need to invest in this and understand because this can be incredibly helpful. And the more I dove in, the more I realized I was like, wow, like I have a Venus in Aquarius. I like my space. That's why I run more commitment phobic, I guess. You know what I mean? I'm not someone who's naturally I don't just cling and attach to people. Like it gave me a really good understanding of one, myself, and two, of the nature of seasons and cycles and opportunities, right? Because planets like Pluto and Saturn, even Uranus, like have such a bad reputation for just causing mayhem in people's lives. But the thing is, when these planets are transiting, these are opportunities too. So like when I lost my job back in 2009, that was a Uranus hit. I was totally not willing at that time in my life to like be more conscious. And so things had to materialize as an event. Now, as I've gotten older and I've learned to work with these energies, these events aren't in the outer world. They materialize as inner transitions typically. And like in 2016, I had a Uranus hit and I got a promotion. So understanding these energies is really critical so that you don't feel like you're a victim of them. And that was the thing. I remember when she said to me, she was like, yeah, that's just what's going on right now. And I thought, so this is just a bad cycle that I'm in. This isn't like my life, because I was raised with, such a terrible parent that I always, as a scapegoat child, I always thought things were my fault. And I had a really hard time shaking that belief. But then when I got into astrology and she started teaching me, I was like, oh, there's just seasons and cycles where things are more challenging or, harder or whatever, but it's not a static thing. So it broke me of this belief that like some things are just permanent, right? And I've been able to essentially understand not just like the lower octave of planets, even though I feel like most astrologers dissect things from the lower octave. They really don't take into consideration the higher octave of an energy. But if you do, you can completely change your life. Like when someone comes to me and they want a prediction, right? I'm really good at predictive astrology. I'm looking at certain things based on their past, on how they will relate in the future. And then I can kind of predict when something will manifest for them. But like, this is contingent also on your efforts. Like people say that Saturn is such a jerk, right? Like Saturn restricts, Saturn blocks. Saturn is only going to restrict and block based on the same degree of resistance from you. So if you're not willing to do the work, expect restrictions, expect blockages. Pluto, if you're not willing to surrender and let go, expect power struggle, expect pain. You know what I mean? If you're not willing to go with the flow and have faith in a Neptune transit, expect confusion, expect to feel lost, expect for your efforts to fall through, right? There's a way to work with these energies that is totally going to benefit you, and then there's a way where they work against you. But it's very much dependent upon your level of consciousness and your intention. And so, that is the beauty of this science, of this practice, is that it's a tool that you can use to your benefit. If I want to materialize something in my life, like if I'm like, I really want to create something big, I'm going to look and see what Saturn's doing, not Jupiter. Jupiter just presents Jupiter is the equivalent of a trine or a sextile, where it opens the opportunity, opens the gates for something to come in. But you still have to have things ready, right? You still have to to plow and till and water in order for Jupiter to be effective when Jupiter comes along. Because Jupiter is not a manifester. Jupiter is just an enhancer, an opportunity provider, right? Like if you have all of your ducks in a row and Jupiter comes along, you might manifest a potential investor or something to help you with the business you're trying to build. But Jupiter on its own is not Santa Claus. And I get tired of people thinking that Jupiter is just this magical, like, manifester. Saturn is the materializer of the chart. Saturn is the one that says, if you do the work, I will reward you. That's Saturn, karma, the great taskmaster, and the one who blesses you with reward if you buckle down and just do it. So if you're willing to work with Saturn, you're going to get a lot done and you'll be blessed. If you're not, you're going to get blocked and restricted, right? So it's like if you look at just one octave or one energy, the shadow side, say, of a planet or a sign, then it's always going to be gloom and doom. But if you understand what's being asked of you, right? Like again, Neptune can be a time where you fall short and you go into your addictions and escapism because it's cloudy. It can also be a time of transcendence and spirituality. That's on you. So I say this so that way, if you have an interest in astrology and you're like, but I'm so scared. Like I love reading for people because when some of these things hit, sure, it's saying time to let go of that identity or time to let go of that tool and learn a new one. But it's an opportunity. Every transit, everything that comes around as these planets move around our chart, these are all opportunities. And I am all about opportunities and creating and changing. And like I said, the more conscious that I have become, the less these aspects have been painful and the more transformative they've been. So I hope that helps if you are someone who really wants to form a relationship to this practice, understand your chart better, understand what's coming up for you better. If you have trepidations, if you have fears around it, I hope that this kind of helped to soften those edges for you. Because astrology, like I said, it's an amazing tool, And we don't have to just look for Jupiter to be like, oh, good things are happening, it's a benefic, or oh, Venus. No, create your own luck based on your own level of consciousness. You have that power to do that. You don't have to wait. Absolutely, when things strike and those aspects hit and they culminate, that's when it's ripe. But that doesn't mean that you can't plan now and prepare and allow for those events to be totally opportunistic as opposed to like shitstorms. So anyway, for more information on all things consciousness, wellness, mind, body, and spirit, please like, share, and follow. I'd love to have you.